Okay, so we got a headline here, and it really jumped out at us.
Yeah.
Ethereum faces losses as price drops by 50% from January high.
Big stuff, right?
Big stuff for
So
sure.
we're diving in today
Let's do it.
and trying to really get a handle on what a drop like this, a full 50%, actually means.
Right.
And what it tells us about Ethereum, you know?
Exactly. And
Maybe even the crypto world in general.
yeah, I mean, this comes from a piece called Pasted Text.
Right.
And a 50% decline, that's not, I mean, we don't see that every day.
No,
Even in, these markets that tend to be pretty volatile.
for sure.
It really makes you think, like, what is this kind of loss?
Yeah.
What does it actually mean?
So for our listener who sent this in, thanks for that, by the way.
Absolutely.
Think about it like this, a 50% drop. That means if you bought Ethereum,
Back in January,
at its peak in January,
right at the high point.
your investment, its value's been cut in half,
Yeah.
basically, since then, which is kind of wild when you think about it. It is, yeah, and the article doesn't really, lay out the exact reasons why this downturn happened.
Yeah.
But we can sort of brainstorm. Right.
For sure.
What are some of the broader implications here?
Right.
I mean, a drop this big, this can shake confidence.
Right, yeah.
Investor confidence.
Absolutely.
And that can lead to, people selling off, right?
Trying to get out.
Yeah, get out while they can.
Cut their losses.
Exactly. And that just pushes the price down even more.
So it's a chain reaction almost?
Exactly, like a knock-on effect.
Yeah, it's not just about that initial loss
Right, exactly.
for, whoever bought in back in January.
It ripples out.
It ripples. Yeah, and so how does this,
Well, think about
decentralized finance?
decentralized finance, right? A lot of DeFi apps, they rely on Ethereum.
They do, yeah.
So if the price of Ethereum tanks,
Oh.
that affects things like collateralization ratios.
And remind us what that is again?
Oh, that's just the amount of assets that that users have to put up to borrow money, basically.
Gotcha.
So if Ethereum's price drops suddenly, sharply,
Like it did.
yeah, like this, some of those loans, they might become under collateralized,
Interesting.
which could trigger liquidations.
Right. So even though we don't have all the specifics
Right.
from this particular article,
From pasted text, yeah.
what are some of the things that we see historically, that can cause these big price swings?
Well, a lot of times you'll see corrections like this after periods of,
Growth.
huge growth. Yeah, rapid growth.
Right. So it goes up really fast.
Shoots up, and then
Sure.
yeah, there's a correction.
It's a correction.
Sometimes it's broader market uncertainty,
Right.
whether it's like traditional finance or something crypto specific,
Sure.
news events, regulations, even technological developments.
Right.
All that can change how people feel, how investors feel.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, of course, there's speculation.
Right, which is huge in the crypto world.
Massive, and that can really amplify these swings, right?
So it's like the real world events, but then it's also how people react.
Yeah, and that
Overreact sometimes.
Exactly. It feeds on itself.
So for our listener, I mean, this is a real world example.
Oh, absolutely.
This 50% drop.
This isn't just hypothetical.
This is what can happen.
Yeah, it shows you just how volatile this market is.
For sure, for sure.
And, that's why it's so important to understand the risks, right?
Manage your portfolio carefully.
Right. Do your research.
Don't just jump in.
Don't go in blind.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be aware of what you're getting into.
All right, well, this has been, a really fascinating look
Yeah.
at what this price drop could mean
Definitely.
based on the info you sent in. So thanks for that.
Absolutely.
So to recap quickly,
Yeah.
the main takeaway from pasted text is that Ethereum
Right.
is down 50% since January.
A huge drop.
A really significant drop.
Yeah, no doubt.
Now, here's a thought to leave you with. Okay, if we are seeing these big swings,
Mm-hmm.
what does that tell us about the crypto market in general?
Right.
What does it tell us about the future of digital assets?
Lots to think about.
Lots to think about, and we want to hear your thoughts.
Absolutely.
So keep them coming, and we'll see you next time.
See you then.